So today in Salt, I'm going to tell you a story about a comic book company named Boom. If you watch my comic book reviews, you'll know that I love the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comic books because they're really good. This is the same company that makes them, Boom. They're putting out this Kickstarter of a comic book made by Keanu Reeves called BRZRKR. So Keanu is obviously co-writing it, and he created the story, and then they've got an industry guy working with him, and then an industry guy drawing the book. But they're using Keanu's likeness and his idea to make a book. Now, this is actually a smart idea. Keanu Reeves is very popular. He's also got a really big game coming up. People like Keanu Reeves. So, to me, it was a smart business idea to approach him, as he says in the 2-minute video here. You ever feel like making a comic book, Keanu? And he said, yeah, I love comics. So he's making a comic book. It's pretty much about some badass guy who is in some kind of higher state of being who can't die, and he wants to, so he's working with the government, so they'll figure out how he can end his existence. Decent little concept. I'll probably check it out just because it looks cool. Here's the interesting thing. This is the interesting thing. People are going insane about it. Broke pencils down comic book pros are very upset that the big action star and Boom Studios are using crowdfunding to make this book happen. They're using a blurb from a Bleeding Cool article. Let me read it for you. Because, of course, Bleeding Cool, did Rich Johnson write this? Yeah, of course he did. He, of course, sides with the comic book pros, and he goes against it. So he exposes this. This is what the Boom CEO, Ross Ritchie, claims. He says that Boom doesn't need Kickstarter to fund BRZRKR, and Boom's official announcement refers to it as a pre-order campaign. Most Kickstarter campaigns, whether from smaller publishers or creators like Kindit and Lemire, are run to raise funds for either the creative or manufacturing costs of their project. More recently, some campaigns like Snyder and Daniels are replacing lost convention sales and promotion. Boom doesn't appear to be doing that, although there are some high-end additions, including the opportunity to get Keanu Reeves' signature as part of the package. So it's less crowdfunding and more channel distribution outside of the comic book store. Now, the reason they're getting upset is because Boom says they didn't need the money. But you are getting a lot for it. You're getting 3 graphic now. It's going to kill them on shipping, by the way, because they all come out at different times. The reason they're doing this, according to them anyway, is to get a market outside of comic books. They want the people that the comic book pros have been trying to get rid of, normies. Comic book pros have worked to destroy the comic book industry for years, and they've almost got it down to the small little club where they just sell books to each other. But you have some companies that are actually doing a good job. I think Boom Studios, for the most part, does a really good job. Like I said, their Power Rangers books are fantastic. I'm probably going to pick this up. As much as I hate Kickstarter, I almost want to do it now just because they're so annoyed, and I like Keanu Reeves, and I like Boom. So what's funny about this, right? So they're using this, so they're saying, to bring in a new market so that they don't have to use comic book stores. You can buy this. You won't have to step foot into a comic book store. You won't have to. But they are salty about it. So I just went to Twitter and just searched BRZRKR, and there's a bunch of people that are upset about it. A lot of industry pros I'm going to show you. Most of them getting upset saying, please, don't back BRZRKR. Give the money to a creator that needs the money. Which is all because a lot of them live in like broke sheds with like 10 other people. So they can barely afford to buy anything other than cat ramen noodles, like cat food or ramen noodles. So they don't want you to back this. Like this one, please do not back BRZRKR, and tell your friends not to also. If you have backed, consider canceling your pledges and putting your money towards independent artists instead. So you'll get woke trash, basically, which is all they know how to make. Woke trash. That's why most of the comic book industry has collapsed, because they make nothing but politically charged trash. This one here. Well, with Boom doing a damn Kickstarter like they're not a massive company with a huge pre-existing following and Netflix deals, it's a great time to remind everyone I was paid $20. Yes, US per inked page during my run on Giant Days. 2020. I am so furious. For years, I spent doing everything you could imagine under the sun comics-wise for that company, making raisins, and now they don't even want to pay for their own publications. The calculation. I'm disgusted. When they offered me $20 a page over Easter weekend to do half an issue of Pickup Inks on Saint because the inker was having problems with a RSI, wonder why, I ended my relationship with them. But they just kept putting no foot in it. And we've got another one right here. The responder is the one that I really want to talk about. I do need you to know that I am absolutely cackling at the idea of a major comic book publication which has deals with Netflix and Universal hopping into Kickstarter to fund their Keanu Reeves written comic book for some reason. For some reason, page rate increases aren't in the stretch goals. Weird. And then also released this quote while simultaneously asking people for money on Kickstarter. This is by Stephanie Cookie, by the way, who I would like to point out ripped off a guy for 10 grand, then left the country, went to Canada, just waiting for it to blow over. There's actual police report documents on this, by the way. A good video by Nick Ricada. I think he did a video or a live stream on this. And Just Some Guy also has done a video on this. I would advise you to check them out if you would like to know a little bit more on that lore. She has spent years destroying male comic book creators, by the way. Years. You get a response from this one right here. Why is Boom, a company with a Netflix deal and major licensing contracts, using a self-publication platform to launch a graphic novel series with Keanu Reeves attached to it? Strange. We've got the money for it. Extremely curious. Putting marketing dollars into building a crowdfunding campaign and relying on an audience generated with buzz to prop this project up. Most folk who make Kickstarters don't have marketing dollars in the first place, but to each corporate entity their own. What is Kickstarter for? Trying to say it's for crowdfunding, which is what it is, to raise money for things. But here's the thing, okay? Who's propping this up? Mainstream media are all writing articles about this. I haven't seen anything promoted from Boom on this unless it was in a Power Rangers comic. The people promoting this are the mainstream media. So they're talking about marketing dollars and all this. I don't think that they spent any on this. The reason they're doing it this way is pretty obvious, and it's exactly what the CEO said. They're doing it because now Keanu Reeves fans and, normies that are just finding this because, they like Keanu Reeves or they see Keanu Reeves is making a comic book, will buy this. They don't have to go to a comic book store. They can read this book and say, wow, I really like this. Maybe, just maybe, I'll go to a comic book store and I'll read some more comics, which is good. But these people, all they do is know how to gatekeep and keep the people they don't like out. And depending on you, by the way, and where you lie in ideology, they don't want you reading comics either. Okay, nothing but gatekeepers and crybabies. They cry about their page rates and stuff that they make, but they've managed to destroy the industry so badly, they should honestly be grateful for whatever they get because they've almost made comics unprofitable. So I just find this hilarious. All they do is try to gatekeep the way things are done. None of them have any business sets. Most of them are a bunch of morons. That's why all of the books look and sound the same, because they don't know how to do anything. They're terrible. There's a reason comic books are dying. It's because these people killed it. Anyway, I'm going to check this out. I'll actually link this in the description. If you want to check it out, check it out. Enjoy the salt. It's doing quite well. It just went up, I think, yesterday. So it's kicking ass like crazy. And I enjoy the salt from the comic book pros. You deserve what you get. Peace.